welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you guys are new here, my name is Kayllc, a professional nail educator, and I am manifesting my life one flawless nail at a time. My passion is to uplift and empower you to believe in your worthiness and encourage you to reach for your dream life just like I'm doing. Before we dive into today's acrylic nail tutorial, I'm beyond excited to share with you something that's been in the labor of love, my first ever ebook, The Art of Nail Technology. It's 185 pages to build a strong, solid foundation for your success as a nail tech. And trust me, we're starting with the most important thing, all about the mindset. I truly believe that your thoughts are things, and your mindset is the key to shaping your reality. That is why the first chapter is dedicated to shifting your mindset to get you closer to that dream life. There are exercises to help you cultivate the healthy lifestyle because you are the divine source of your business, and it's time to treat yourself as such. But that's just the beginning. We deep dive into infection and safety control, proper sanitation, nail anatomy, prepping techniques, and everything you need to know about acrylic and shaping. Whether you're just starting a career as a nail tech or you're experienced and looking to sharpen your skills, this ebook is made just for you. I want to be 110% transparent. This ebook does not cover marketing advice or business advice because I wanted to focus solely on foundational nail knowledge. But don't worry, future launches like the art of nail artistry and the art of beauty expansion will deep dive into those advanced topics. And anyone who purchases this ebook will get VIP access to those future launches, as well as discounted products and free webinars. If you guys have been following, I am so happy to announce that my first discount round completely sold out. But don't worry, I did ask for your guys' vote and input on Instagram, and I totally agreed to extend the sale and do another round of discount, 55% off, which means that you could get this 185-page ebook, normally priced at $300, for only $175. That's $125 total in savings. Everybody that purchased my ebook also got a nice free gift in their inbox for all of the love and support being shown. If you're serious about taking your nail career to the next level, this is the perfect investment. But act fast because this discount will not last long. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for letting me be a part of your nail journey. I cannot wait to see where this takes you and how far you're going to make it. It truly means the entire world, your kind love and support. Now, let's get into today's nail tutorial. Welcome to the Art of Nail Technology. We're going to be going over how to prep and prepare a nail. We have, if you guys can tell, Lindsay's beautiful hands. I just love touching them with gloves. So thank you to Lindsay for being my model and being a part of my classes. We're gonna just do one nail. So let's get up in here and get a look at what we're working with. When you get a new file, you always want to bevel it with a little part of the other file, just at the edge, so you're not wasting this great file. And we're just gonna do that on all four corners, and now it will not cut my client at all. When you file a natural nail, it is always from out to the center, out to the center, towards the center, towards the center. If I go back and forth, I break up the layers of her nail and it messes up her growth channels, and that's the last thing that I would want to do to my client, is damage her nails. Lay your cuticle pusher flat to the nail, push to the right, push up to the left. And essentially what we're pushing back is the eponychium. Pushing back the skin from right to left down the center. This is the eponychium right here, this skin right here that you see me touching. That is the eponychium. This is what protects the skin from diseases, anything like that. And what is actually the cuticle is this white right here on the nail plate. So as nail techs, it is our responsibility to use the proper terminology when we're talking about the nail anatomy. So make sure that you are saying it correctly when you ask your client, hey babe, is it okay if I trim this dead skin right here? Because you're not trimming the cuticle. The cuticle is right here. We're gonna remove that. You're gonna ask her, can I trim this dead skin right here to give you a nice cleaner look? Because as nail techs, you are prohibited from cutting live skin. So just make sure that you communicate and talk to your client, making sure that you guys are both on the same page. Then you're gonna take your mandrel bit. We're gonna put a fine grit sanding band And always leave a little bit of space for more control. We're going to turn on our e-file on forward if you are right-handed, reverse if you're left-handed, to a low speed of 3,000 RPMs, which is revolutions per minute. I'm going to take my file and I'm going to score the edge of the sanding band so it doesn't cut my client at all. When it comes to holding your client's finger, thumb, middle finger to push back the skin, pointer finger to balance the finger, the rest of the finger to make sure it's nice and straight. So you're always going to hold it like this, pushing back. Working with your e-file must be balanced. This is double bracing. Both feet planted on the ground, pinky balanced onto your other hand. That is called double bracing. And I'm going to be going around the cuticle and then filling in. Around the cuticle and then filling in. Making sure that the top of my sanding band connects to the edge of the nail plate. If you have to twist your client's finger, do so that way you could get the entire nail plate. We're gonna be going up with extremely light pressure. And I'm laying my sanding band flat to the nail, so that way I do not create any grooves or indents into her natural nail. Essentially, this first pass around is around to get rid of that sticky white cuticle on the nail plate. This is so light pressure that even on my skin, it doesn't hurt at all. Now that you went around, we're going to then fill in the rest of the nail. I go from right to left, back, right to left, lifting up my sanding band and laying it flat to the nail plate. Using very, very light pressure. I want to make sure that the entire nail plate has no shiny spots or dead skin. Be careful not to go back and forth so that way you do not mess up the growth channels of your client's nail. We barely feathered that sanding band over the nail plate because we're only removing the top oily shiny layer. We do not want to remove any more layers at all because it is our responsibility to maintain the health of our client's nails. We're gonna turn that off. We're gonna switch this to a fine grit round head cuticle bit. We're going to actually go behind the e-file, flip this to reverse, and we're going to be switching up the entire direction that we were working with. Before we were going right to left, now we're going to switch it up. Reverse, left to right. This ensures that you tuck underneath this eponychium, lift it up. We want file horizontal this way, going up, then start going vertical and then go downward. Do not go. We want all of this to stay inside. All of this to stay inside. Do not go boom, boom, boom. That's not what we want. So we're gonna turn on to level to 3,000 RPMs, going upward, tucking underneath that eponychium. Tucking underneath, making sure that your e-file, your bit, is parallel to the nail plate to not cause any rings of fire. This is very light pressure. Tell that I'm kind of going up and against the skin. You can flip your hand over to get a better view and kind of twist your client's hand just a tiny bit down. The skin of right here is now more up and lifted off of the nail plate. So that's what we want, is we want that skin to be lifted. You do not want to add pressure, but they may be slightly more sensitive, so just be careful when you're brushing, not too hard. So now you can see that the nail plate nice and kind of roughed up. It's matte, looking matte, no shiny spots at all. Shiny spots mean oily spots, which then will cause lifting. This dead skin right here is nice and lifted up compared to how we first started off. So you see how this cuticle is on the nail plate versus this one is removed and the dead skin is lifted. When it comes to nipping the dead skin, you want to make sure that you ask your client if it's okay. You are actually legally not allowed to cut live skin at all. So just ask your client, hey babe, is it okay if I can nip this dead skin right here to give you a better aesthetically pleasing nail, and they usually give you the green light and tell you that they love that no salon ever does that for them. So by all means, cut it all away. When we use our nippers, we're going to be using them more up here towards the tip. Ensure that your nippers are nice and sharp to a point. You can damage the nail by having dull clippers. I like to hold my clippers in between my palm and my fingers, so that way it's easier for me to nip. We're going to be starting at the very corner. I like to start here at the corner and use just the tip of the nipper. Be careful that the bottom of the nipper does not cut the skin. You want to line it with the bottom and then pinch. You do not ever want to pull, never. You're gonna just pinch and just get rid of that yellowish dead skin. Don't try to remove too much. And that is how my nail is looking like. Now that you have removed the dead skin, we are going to dehydrate the nail before applying our nail tips. I'm gonna take a little lip-free wipe, and I will have here alcohol and acetone mix as my dehydrator, and I'm going to cleanse this nail, just removing any dust, moisture, so the nail tip can be well adhered onto the nail. No C-curve nail tips. And I'm going to first measure the nail tip before applying the nail. So I'm gonna just guess a size 4, and by laying it flat, she looks a little bit too big, so I'm going to check out number 5. And looking at it from side wall, let's say I cover this side wall, turn it this way, it doesn't fully necessarily cover the other side. It's still missing a little bit of a gap. So if you're in between two sizes, always go up. I noticed that it's a tiny bit bigger, so I'm going to take my file and ever so slightly I like to remove deep well. I'm going to measure. Perfect, that fits a lot better. And I'm actually going to apply the glue, a dot of glue onto the nail. I'm going to align the nail. I'm going to position it, rock, and hold. As soon as I place it, you want to squeeze the side walls in to make sure that they are nice and adhered. I'm going to flip her hand over to make sure that her nail is straight. Since her nail goes a little bit this way, I try to align the nail tip closer a little bit more the opposite way, so that way it follows the finger and not the nail. When she puts her hand out, it's a lot more straighter and not going the way her nail is growing. Strive for the nail to go straight out and doesn't curve down, and this line of equilibrium, do not make it go past down that. Take out your tip cutter. The blade should always be facing you, never towards the client. When it's straight right here, that goes straight up against the client. If you over direct your tip cutter towards you and you cut, then you'll get a very rounded tip. If you cut the tip away from you, you'll get a very concave tip and you risk it breaking the nail tip. So ensure that it's straight up perpendicular, meaning this goes out and this goes straight up against it, creating a 90-degree, and cut. Take your sanding band. Remember to put it back to forward. We're gonna blend the nail tip to the nail, not touching the natural nail anymore. Laying it flat. Then we're going to be going down the middle of the nail, rainbow motion, going down zone 2, and going down zone 3. This ensures that when you shape, you can clearly see your shaping, and you're removing a little bit more weight from the plastic nail tip, allowing it for healthier nails. Always dust off after every step. Perfect. We're going to be doing tapered square. We do have a nice beautiful square nail tips, But I do want to show you guys the steps when it comes to hand shaping your nail tip. Always put the nail tip in the middle of the file, never at the corner, never at the bottom, right in the middle. We're going to be doing long strokes back and forth, never up and down, up and down, up and down. We're going to first go underneath, then straight up against it. Underneath, then straight up against it. By going underneath, it ensures that it is nice and straight. It doesn't droop over the free edge, making it look thick. And because you're starting in the middle and doing long strokes, in just a couple strokes, your bottom underside of your sidewall should be nice and flush. I'm making sure that my sidewall makes contact with the underside of the sidewall the entire time. Now that we went underneath it, we're going to be going straight up against it, forming a perpendicular angle, a 90-degree. We're not angling it out, we're not angling it in. Straight up against it. You can tell that my sidewall is making contact with the file the entire time. This ensures that the sidewall follows the straight edge of the file. Same with the other side. We already went underneath it, so we're going to be going straight up against it. Then I'm going to be going straight up against the nail tip, ever so slightly. We do not want to remove any length because we're still going to be cleaning it up at the end. And this is how my tapered square is looking so far. I'm going to now finish off my prep of my nails and get them ready for acrylic. I will use my scrubby. I'll use my scrubby and load up my brush with that dehydrator mix. And I'm going to be scrubbing, not too hard, making sure that there's no dust or moisture. I'm going to take a lint-free wipe with the acetone mix, and I'm going to dehydrate for a second time. This is now cleansing the nail. So always dehydrate 2 times to ensure that there is no moisture on the nail plate. This ensures that your nails will last for a really long time. The little bit of acetone in the mix is also going to help blend that nail tip to the nail even more. And look how beautiful she's looking. Like, oh, so hot. I'm going to now prime the nails. I'm going to take a protein bond to restore her nails, give it more strength. The more stronger your nails are and the longer they last. I'm going to be going rainbow around and then filling everything in. Be careful not to get any of it on the skin or the cuticle. I'm going to then take the no lift primer and do a second layer of primer ever so slightly, being careful not to get it on the skin. And our nails are nice and primed. They will last us such a long time.